Hi, I'm Kathy Johnson from Pyramid of Potential. This is video 38 of the 60 videos of the Harnessing Learning Potential video series. Today we're talking all about memory. There are many kinds of memory. There's short-term and long-term. There's visual and auditory. There's working memory. So here I'm going to describe them and give you a few little tricks for how to improve them. I've been working on improving people's memory for the last 15 years, and I just love doing brain training. And this is what we do with the brain advancement coaching. So if you're interested in getting further into this, please come take a look. Meanwhile, short-term memory is like the first memory. Something has to stay in short-term memory, long enough, okay, before going away in order to improve, say, long-term memory or working memory or visual or auditory, or two different types of short-term memory. So that short-term memory is like the first key. And by the way, going to primitive reflexes, short-term memory is set up during spinal gland. So don't forget those primitive reflexes. So if I wanted to work on your short-term memory, I might use a deck of cards for short-term visual memory. And I might flip them one at a time. And what you'd have to do is, after I flip it, say what it is. And so I'll just ask you to remember the number and the color. All right, that's all. Number and color. How many there are, it's 1, 2, or 3. And the colors are red, green, or purple. All right, ready, go. There's this one, there's this one, and there's this one. So, did you remember them? Here are the 3. All right, and so by practicing 3 cards and seeing if you can remember them again and again, that would be a way of practicing short-term visual memory. A way to practice short-term auditory memory would be for me to give you some numbers to remember, all right? And see if you can tell them back to me. So I'm going to, by the way, the average person who is 7 years old and older can hold an average of 7 discrete pieces of information in their brain in short-term memory. So I'm going to give you 7 numbers, and let's see if you can, as soon as I say go, write them down in order. You ready? 6, 2, 8, 1, 5, 7, 3, go. Okay, here they are, so you can see if you got them right. 6, 2, 8, 1, 5, 7, 3. And so if you did, you've got at least average working memory, visual working or auditory working memory. So next thing that I'm going to talk about is long-term memory. If you wanted to improve someone's long-term memory, they can remember things for a short period of time, but not for the test tomorrow, right? So we would go back to the cards, say, and I'd show you a card. Okay, this is 3 and it's green squiggles. And now we'd go off and we'd do another activity, say some more numbers, see if you could remember them. And then I'd say, so what was that card I showed you? The set card, and it was 3 green squiggles. And then I'd ask you maybe 5 minutes later, and then I'd ask you 15 minutes later, and then I'd ask you a half hour later, and then I'd ask you tomorrow. And so I'd only ask you to do one thing, to try and remember one thing, and repeating it, but with longer and longer times in between. The last type of memory is working memory. And because that is so important to our kids with learning disabilities, I'm going to address it in its video all by itself. So stay tuned for the next one.